Hello everyone, in this video I'll be showing you a Blood Sorcery Sorcerer build guide in Baldur's Gate 3. This is a modded class that was made by Sturm1212, now available on console. If you played the Blood Mage and didn't really like that class, you'll love this one because it's everything you could ever imagine in a blood-focused sorcerer. So what's fun about this is you can create blood surfaces, and then there's spells that you get that can restrain targets that are in them. So it's really cool and a lot of synergies here with some different builds, so I'll be covering this all the way through. Now for the cantrips, we also have Mistress Spells now on console. I think Bone Chill's nice to stop the target from healing, and also Shocking Grasp would be able to stop the target from using reactions. As for the rest of the cantrips, I like good old Minor Illusion to group enemies together because we can drop down a necrotic damage focused fireball on the enemies. And if you want, you can obviously take whatever extra spells that you want. I'm just going to add Ray of Frost just for a little bit of making ice surfaces from the blood. Now, we also got some spells. I would always recommend taking Shield. This is just super useful. Increase your armor class by 5. We'll take Magic Missile. Chaos Bolt can also be nice too. It just got added with the mod manager. But we get ourselves all the spells that we want here. So what's nice about the Blood Sorcerer is this gives us the Blood Bolt, which does 1 to 12 necrotic damage, and gives us 2 damage if we're not bleeding. So you want to be bleeding at all times. That's why we have the Blood Sacrifice. So you bleed yourself to potentially bleed the target. If the target bleeds, it drops a puddle of blood on the ground, also drops a puddle of blood below the caster. And we have Blood Needle, which does a 1d4 of necrotic and maims the target so that they can't move. Really nice for cantrip. We also got the Bloodbath here, so call forth a rain of blood, bleed every creature for 4 turns, and deals that 1d4 of necrotic damage. We also got a Blood Rebuke here. 2d10 necrotic damage, and does 3d10 if the caster is bleeding, so we obviously want to be bleeding whenever for a lot of these spells. Now, we also got a benefit to give advantage on attack rolls when we're bleeding, and we can give ourselves 3 times the spell's level back as healing every time we take out a target with a spell. And we have the Sacrificial Spell, which makes us ignore resistance and immunity to necrotic damage, so that's huge. And then for our ability scores, I would recommend going 16, and then 16 into our Dexterity, 14 Constitution, 10 Intelligence, 10 Wisdom. And for skill proficiencies, always take Persuasion. So that's what we're going to roll with there. I'll be covering all the spells in this, as we get a lot of cool ones, like the Blood Needle, the ability to make ourselves bleed, and then furthermore to that, we can also inflict locking targets in place in the blood pools. Now, we also get another leveled spell here, so you really take what you want. Frost Fingers is nice. Any type of ice damage, we can use that to create ice surfaces. Absorbs Elements is also really good, or if you don't have any of these mods, you can take one of the other spells that we get as a sorcerer. I also like going with, if you got the Empowered Spell mod, this is an incredible one. So you can use 1 spell point to roll your damage with advantage. And then also going with like the Twin Spell is a really good choice here. Distance Spell can be nice to increase range of your spells, but if you don't use it, take the Empowered Spell mod. That one's incredible. Now, we also get a few more spells at level 3. We get ourselves Blood Ray, which is like Scorching Ray, but necrotic. And damages us for 1d4, or no damage if we're bleeding. So obviously, again, we want to be bleeding. And then Blood Spike, which transfers the blood beneath the target into spikes that impale it, dealing 4 to 40 necrotic damage. And all creatures around it can only be used on targets standing on blood surface. So on top of that, we also get to take a level 2 spell. So we got Rhymes Binding Ice, which I think is really nice, reducing movement speed to 0. We always get our necrotic spells, so the extra sorcerer spells are at whatever you prefer. Even like Flaming Spear can be nice to give yourself an extra summon, or Misty Step also is nice. For our meta magic, we're going to obviously take Quicken Spell here, because this is super useful to be able to cast an extra spell. And for our cantrip, Lightning Lure, or really whatever spell you got there. And for our next leveled spell, Scorching Ray is not bad, but we have a necrotic version, which is going to be better for us. So Hold Person is solid, because then we can deal extra damage to the target with that. We're also going to take our ability score increase here for Charisma up to 18 for a +4 to our modifiers. And at level 5, we get our Crimson Blast, which is basically Fireball but necrotic damage. So basically, it causes you to take 1d8 necrotic damage for every target hit, which can actually take you out if you're not paying attention, or half if the caster's bleeding. And also Sanguine Feast will heal you for, it does 46 necrotic in an area around your character, and you basically heal for half the health dealt. So kind of like Vampiric Touch, but in an area of effect. Now Haste is always the good choice here, because this will give you, we can twin Haste to ourselves and then cast 2 spells, and then another one is a bonus action. At level 6, we get Blood Magic, so anytime we deal necrotic damage, we add our Charisma modifier to the damage, and Blood Vitality. In combat, if the wearer is standing on blood surface at the start of their turn, they heal for 2d4 of health points. So always be standing in blood. You'll heal because of it. Now, I also like Lightning Bolt here or Fireball, but you don't have to go with those. Fireball just can be a nice backup if you don't want to hurt yourself. Vampiric Touch can be a really good heal too if you want to, but we also have another version of that that works pretty well too. Doing the 46 of Necrotics a little bit better. So Lightning Bolt, Scorching Ray, Misty Step even can be a nice spell to take a little bit earlier if you need a little bit extra mobility. And at level 7, we get ourselves the Bloodstorm, which does 3d8 of slashing plus 5d6 in necrotic. And we take 1 to 12 damage for each target hit. So if you hit 5 targets, at this point, we only have 44 health. That could take us out. So just be mindful of that. I would recommend going with the Amulet of Greater Health for this build, just for the extra damage, or the extra health for this, because this is a high risk, high reward class. And if you're bleeding, you only take 1 to 4 necrotic. So yeah, high risk, high reward is the motto of this class. We also get some level 4 spells. I really like Ice Storm for just knocking the target prone. You also got Counterspell, which is not bad to take, so we can take that there. We'll typically want to use our necrotic spells because we add extra damage and ignore resistances to necrotic, so that's really going to be a big focus for us. So yeah, I think it's best to go with like Ice Storm here just to be able to knock the target prone. And then we can take Alert for +5 initiative, or we can go with an ability score increase to take up our charisma to 20. At level 9, this will give us my favorite spell, the Grasp of the Dead, doing 8d8 necrotic. And it says Blood Tentacles rise from the ground, attacking restraining creatures that stand in blood surfaces. Blood surfaces affected by the spell disappear on cast. So basically, we have our puddles of blood, and we'll just restrain targets that are in. You can hit a lot of enemies with this, and yeah, it's really useful. We also don't hurt ourselves with this spell. Hold Monster, just too good of a spell to not take, so we'll go with that. And then for level 10, we can take another cantrip here. So again, whatever you prefer for your option of spells. There's a lot of good ones here, so we'll just go Frostbite. And then for our next leveled spell, we could go with something like, there's a lot of level 5 spells here. Like we got our Big B's Hand, we got our Cone of Cold, which I usually always take Cone of Cold. Also, the Macabre Explosion here is really nice. This is a necromancy spell. So if we have any undead, we can use this. Will really pairs well with the Dread Overlord Warlock, because you can use this to explode their undead, and it does 48 necrotic and 48 force in a huge area, so that can be good. But it'll probably wipe out all the undead. Immolation can be good too. We'll take that just for a fun spell, and then we'll also go with our distance spell here. If you don't have the empowered spell, then you can go with like Subtle Spell or something else. At level 11, we get our Blood Power, so you deal an additional 1 to 6 necrotic damage when you're bleeding, and advantage on attack rolls against bleeding targets. And then we also get the Crimson Leech, which is our most powerful spell, doing a 12d6 plus 40 necrotic damage. With this, it can disintegrate a target if you hit it, and takes it to 0 health. And it also deals 40 damage to us if we're not bleeding, so always use this when you're bleeding, or else you'll be in for a world of hurt. Now, for our final, we get 2 more spells. Globe of Invulnerability can be huge for making us immune to damage. Circle of Death is also really good because this is a necromancy spell, and we'll heal for 18 health if we take out targets with this. So I always take that because I just think that's super useful with a necromancer build. And we also could take Cone of Cold there as a really nice spell. Chain Lightning also being a really useful one. Summon Draconic Spirit, not overly useful, but yeah, Odaluk's Freezing Spirit being another one we can take. I really like Cone of Cold. Global Invulnerabilities being very, very useful too, or Chain Lightning. So it's your own preference, really, whichever you go with. Cone of Cold can make ice surfaces too, so that can be good. And then for our final, we'll go with Alert for the +5 to initiative. Now, what makes this class so good is we can deal a lot of damage. Basically, we want to bleed ourselves and the target as much as possible. And yeah, the thing is, you do want to start off combat with that. So we got our Blood Sacrifice there that we can apply bleed to ourselves, and then we're bleeding here now, so then we can affect them without hurting ourselves with our spells. So it also ignores resistance, making it very powerful. And yeah, you can see here we can maim targets to reduce their movement speed to 0. These spells hit really hard, so I guess we'll just go with a cantrip or the spell there. Boom, boom, boom. 18, 16, 16 hits hard. We also got our empowered spell if we want to hit for higher damage. So I guess I'll go into combat to really show off what this can do. But in terms of gear, I think it's best to go with something like, so we'll go with Hood of Weave for +2 to spell save DC and spell attack rolls, Cloak Protection, Evasive Shoes, and Ring of Protection, all for +1 as armor class and saving throws. Crypt Lord Ring, because having an undead's nice for frightening them. We also get the Amulet of Greater Health for greater health, because we'll get ourselves 122 health with that. Gemini Gloves allows us to target 2 targets with our cantrips, so that can be really good. I also don't mind going with like the Wave Mother's robe. What's nice about the Wave Mother's robe is we can actually create a bunch of water surfaces too for like other spells. So if we want to deal like, if we want to go ahead with like some water spells, we could go that route. We can also add the Potent robe. That's another really good choice. If you got Helldusk armor, that can give you really good armor class and free proficiencies. I don't normally like to add this to the classes, but any class that doesn't get heavy armor, it's nice to be able to get heavy armor unless you dip one level into the fighter. So we can give ourselves that just for the purpose of this. It sets our armor class at 23. With the Mark of Heshker, Hellrider Longbow, it's a pretty powerful class. So I'll get out into a combat encounter to show off what this can truly do, because it is very, very powerful. And it's fun to play too, since we can ignore any resistances to necrotic and immunities too. So that makes it very powerful in and itself. Basically, we want to get in, get ourselves bleeding, and then deal damage with our bleed spells that are very, very powerful. So we can even just, if you need to, you can like bleed yourself and basically target one of your allies. It's not ideal, but to start off combat with a bleed, we can do this, and then we can also apply haste to ourselves so that we can start combat this way, and then we'll exit our turn-based mode, and then we got our action back, so now we get into our combat. If you know you're getting into a combat encounter, applying haste is really the way to go. So that gives us the ability to do some really powerful spells. So Blood Ray is really nice too. We can upcast that to deal a little bit extra damage. And we'll go ahead there. It should take them out. Yep, and it did. Good. So then we'll move ahead here. And we got some other options too. We could even have used the Empowered spell there to make sure that we do land that. Now, we don't have any non-concentration crowd control like spells. It's hard for us to hit some of these different enemies. So you can Misty Step to get away. We do have our haste set up, so we don't want to lose that. And yeah, we already got a blood surface there. So just be mindful where you have your blood surfaces, because that can be really, really useful. And I guess we don't really have anything else to do, so I'll just summon in us, because it's nice to have someone else here. And we'll just end turn there. End turn. I'm not going to use them just to show off the combat power of this, so they're going to come running out. And we want to be mindful where our blood surfaces are, because then we can use our abilities to lock people in place. Foolish mortal jumping into the blood surface. So they're going to... Okay, they come out here. I might be able to get them with a Razzle Dazzle here, where I can use the spells on the blood surfaces. And hopefully I can hit multiple with one spell, because that's the ideal use, is using the... if we use our Grasp of the Dead, we want to hit as many as possible with that. So he's in a blood surface there. It doesn't target him for some reason there. So yeah, we can go with... I don't think this is going to hit multiple targets. It's ideal to hit multiple people with multiple spells so that you can get going pretty good. So I guess I'll use a Bloodstorm right here. Boom. That created... Oh, Broker Concentration on Darkness. Perfect. So that might even allow us to do... Yeah, that gets both of them. So we can lock them both in place there. So they're now both restrained, which is sick. And then we also got our... Illithid abilities work really well here, so even just like a Mind Blast, this probably will take them out. I'll use on him, it probably won't. Yeah, it took him out, never mind. She's restrained though, she's probably going to cast Darkness again. And yeah, that's the power of this. Twinning Haste is nice too, because you could give Haste to your fighter as well, so that they can get in and start giving a bunch of damage. I'll just let us sit there. Bone Chill, blocked it, nice. I love that I have a mod that makes us use your shield to block. Saved on Beckon in Darkness, nice. And they're running away. Hopefully they get into the way. Dash, he's going to come up right around here. That is fine. Okay, perfect. This gives us the ability to drop down a Fireball. We could also use the Crimson Leech. We're not bleeding right now, so that would probably take us out. So that actually makes things a little risky. So anytime that you're not bleeding, it's always best to apply bleed. He's immune to it, but we're not, so perfect. This allows us to cast our spells without taking extra damage. We can also go with Circle of Death. That can be not a bad one too, because it hits in a huge area. But we'll just go with a upcasted Crimson Fireball there. Oh, that went through the ground. Blasted them. Cool animations. So yeah, there we go. We took them out with that. Very powerful. If you have the Crypt Lord Ring, this gives us a free, hopefully a free body to summon from. Sometimes with necrotic spells, it'll burn their body so that you can't use it. So we got ourselves a mummy here. Nice. And then we'll go to the gates here, just outside Baldur's Gate City, just to show off some more fun that we can do with this class. So yeah, once your haste breaks in a moment, we're going to lose the ability to move. But again, don't use your powerful spells without having any extra kind of mechanisms to protect yourself from that. Because if you use some of these spells and deal 40 damage to yourself, for example, that could take you out. Because you're going to be running lower health typically with this class. That's just the nature of it. So typically you want to be doing a blood sacrifice, get yourself started. And you can create blood pools this way if you know you're getting into combat. And then what this looks like is we just get in here and we're going to drop a Circle of Death, which will hopefully drop a bunch of enemies here. Boom. It didn't drop a bunch of townspeople, that's fine. And then we get ourselves Ice Storm could be nice, or even like your Cone of Cold if you have blood surfaces set up to create some slippery surfaces. We also got Hold Person, which can be good to stop a lot of targets from moving. Potentially we can hit 4 people with our Crimson Fireball here, so that's not bad. Sanguine Feast is nice because we can heal ourselves too if we need it, but I think an upcasted version of this might be not bad, so we'll just drop that down. Boom, nice. That took out all of them. That was good. Hopefully they move into those blood surfaces, because that would be ideal. And then I guess we can also add in like a repulsor. Unfortunately that won't reach. Black Hole can be nice too. We can drop that down and pull everyone in towards it. The Lithid abilities are pretty fun on this build, because we could have used that as a bonus action and then dropped like a fireball. We also have someone right behind us here that just started the combat. So yeah, ideally you can pull them into the blood surfaces, because then they're going to get pulled into your crowd control spells. So that's the most ideal use of it. I'll get Gale to pop one of these too, because why not? This is a very challenging solo fight. I took a lot of them out, nice. Bloodborne Gale, and also dropping Radiating Orbs on them. But yeah, typically we want to create blood surfaces to be able to stop everyone from moving around. So that's the ideal use that we get out of this class. Doesn't always work that way, but it can sometimes. I guess Us is useless right now. And I guess we can drop a blade. Oh, we can't use that crap. We'll try a flame spear there. Yeah, this is such a tough combat encounter that I don't mind just helping out with extra attacks here. So invalid target for some reason. Oh, they had to be frightened, right? I got to do the frightening. Had to frighten them. But we also got our necrotic punch, so blocked, of course. They're just good for soaking up hits. But I like the Crypt Lord ring for that, because the sorcerer doesn't get really any summons, and summons can be a really great way to spread aggro, because you're going to have a lot less health. Because typically we're going to be hurting ourselves with a lot of these spells. So being able to block that out is pretty fun. But also using the Mark of Heshkir here, you can use like Chain Lightning with it, which is nice. So if you got a bunch of enemies grouped together, I got commanded crap. I'll just pause this. So we're not doing too hot here, but we do got some other spells that we can drop. I could do the take out my team play here and drop this on them, but that's not the most ideal use of an action. But I'm still going to do it anyways, because we're in dire need of a win here. So that took them out. Didn't finish them off. I don't have haste anymore, so that sucks. Yeah, this is not an ideal encounter, but it happens. Sometimes you can't win them all. We can always Misty Step away and try to get away. So I guess I can also drop the haste zone here, so that's not a bad other way to get ourselves an extra action. And then we can go ahead with another. I guess I also have the ability to. I ran out of level 5 spells. We can free cast this, and that's not what I wanted. I want ourselves the ability to Grasp of the Dead here. So this is going to restrain all bleeding targets in this area, or all targets that are standing in blood in this area, which is actually a lot. So boom, restrain them all, and it actually will take out a good number of them. So that wasn't too bad. I could also probably use a sorcery point, because I haven't really used many yet. But yeah, I didn't anticipate getting hit with command 100 times in a row. So that's where our whole team went. I'm still holding strong though, because we got a high armor class. No one can hit me. So yeah, all my team is getting wrecked. That's fine. Oh yeah, that took out Minsk. Oof. They're still attacking me though. Yeah, we're going strong. And we're back at it here, so I guess we'll finally use our Empowered Strike. And I could also heal myself with Sanguine Feast if I need it. Drop in a Bloodstorm here so that we can potentially restrain them. I got counterspelled. Of course I did. Crap. Yeah, that's likely to happen at times like these when you need it. So I guess, yeah, I'm running low on options, but I also got an arcane battery, so I can upcast our fireball, level 6, or necrotic fireball. Boom. That's what I want. I wanted the counter spell, so I could do that. And then we can also go with a quickened meta magic, and then also hit him with a blood ray, I guess. That's really all that we got left here. I could upcast level 3 and hope I take him out. Boom! And we won, somehow. Against all odds, the Blood Sorcerer prevailed. We burned up all of our spell slots. That is the point of this Blood Sorcerer right there. You can do crazy things like that. It's very high risk. We lost all of our teammates, but yeah, the Blood Sorcerer stood above the rest. So yeah, hit that subscribe button below if you haven't already. Thank you to Sturm1212 for making this awesome class. I love this. It's probably my favorite modded class. So yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and thank you so much for watching.